Hi everyone, how are we all doing this evening, this Wednesday, which I found out today some Scandinavian people call Mini Saturday for some reason, but we all know it here as Hump Day. Today we've got on Leafy Decays. Hi Painting Dude 3, hope you're well. Young chap, hope you're well. Well, we're hopefully going to have no issues with anybody coming into the Inquisition tonight. So I hope you're all well today. Hope you have had a fantastic day so far, and we're more or less swinging our way to the weekend. And if you live in Ireland, 2 bank holidays in March, baby. 2 bank holidays in March. Can't wait. Get Paddy's Day, and then we've got the day that Jesus, the magician, died, and then for his next. Hi Leafy, hi Colin, hi Penge, hi Simon. Hope we're all well. Penge is on time, folks. Mark that down as an outside bet. So I've sent Simon and I've sent Casey your invites. I have sent you one as well, Kelly. So just check and add. All right, to Lord of Chaos, hope you're well, my friend. John Hughes 18, hope you're well as well, my friend. Thanks for everybody for joining. And I hope you're all having a Hi, how you doing?
Hi, yeah, I'm all right, you. I'm hoping you can hear me all right because I've had to put my headphones in because my phone's currently like sat in a mug.
Yeah, man, I can hear you absolutely fantastic.
Okay,
Fantastic. Well, we're just trying to get in a couple of other guys. For some reason, whenever I try and add Casey and Simon, there's always issues for some reason, and I don't know why, but you managed to get in on the first attempt. Right, I've sent you an invite now, Casey, and I've just sent you another one there now as well, Simon. So check your inboxes again. And how's the weather up in the Tyne, Kelly? How's all up north?
well, I've not actually left my apartment today, but I think it's been raining. I'm not sure.
So you're
But
telling me you never went and smashed your personal best today in the gym?
no, I've been suffering with aches and pains the last like couple of days, so I've just left it. So
Doesn't sound good.
That sounds a bit of a cop out that you're not going to do some
yeah,
squats or some deadlifts for us tonight,
no,
Kelly.
not
No.
today.
Yeah,
But,
I'll be honest, we never ask guests to exercise on camera for us, don't worry. That's just
okay, no, it's all right.
the way you
Try and
go
mix
with
it
it.
up. Just try and mix it up. Casey, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, I mean, if you want to see some squats, I'll do some for you later. How's that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, as you all know, folks, there is no rush tonight to come off at 9 o'clock because Love Island finished on Monday. So that's it. No Love Island now. Just waiting for Celebrity Big Brother to start now.
Oh gosh.
Right, Simon, I'm going to send you another invite. Do you want to check now? Well,
Or
wait for Simon to join. I just want to say thanks very much, Kelly, for accepting our invite to the Inquisition. As a relatively new painter, it must have been quite a shock for us to ask yourself to come on, but we're hoping to
Yeah.
have everybody and anybody on. So usually the first question I ask everybody as we start and kick this bad boy off is, what age were you when you first started painting miniatures, and what got you into the hobby, and what was your first mini that you painted?
Well, you didn't believe me when I told you how old I was anyway. But I got into Warhammer when I was 30 years old, so last year. But yeah, and then I started to paint Warhammer because I'd met my partner, and he had like this massive box. He was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna show you all these minis because like I'm a Lord of the Rings fan." So he was like, "I've got all these Lord of the Rings minis," and then yeah, anyway, got it all out, and there was just like Space Marines, Tyranids, and I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "What's this?" and then yeah, I ended up. I think I'd started watching like because he followed Squidmar on YouTube, so just like yeah, then I was just I'm like an artist anyway, so I was kind of inspired to start painting and stuff. And then once I started, I didn't stop painting, so I was like,
So I'm going to jump in now for a couple of questions. Now, I will be honest, you don't follow me, I don't follow you, that's fine. But I'm the least serious member of our little menage a trois, as it were. So I'm going to be asking some daft stuff. Don't worry, I do it to everyone. So given your accent, what is the best area of the Northeast and why is it Sunderland?
So, well, it's debatable because, well, my partner's from Sunderland, but
Ooh.
um,
So is mine. That's why I got the dig in.
but yeah, but we do live in Newcastle. But I'm not gonna lie, like best part of the north is Yorkshire. Can't lie. I've got to put it out.
And how are you? Given that you sort of just recently into everything, how have you found your journey into the plastic addiction, as it were? You know, was it not like a nice, easy lay in, or were you just where you've had this box of stuff where you just held the lever at it, like I've got all these minis, yeah, let's go mad.
My bank account hurts already, and I'm just like, oh god. It's been fun. Like at first, obviously, like because I used to stream on Twitch, like doing video games. So I had like my Discord community anyway. But then when I started painting, everyone was joining, and people that were in my community were like sending me like all their spare minis, like, oh, just paint this, paint that. Like I was just painting anything. And then obviously like over the last year or so, I kind of, yeah, I ended up having a bit of a love for Tyranids. And then I think that was just because like what I first started painting and stuff. And then like currently now I'm on to the Battle Sisters. So I'm not so much like into the lore side of things. I'll get there eventually,
Yeah.
but I'm currently just like painter at the minute, and then slowly trying to like get into lore because it's a big old, yeah.
Yeah, it is massive, and it can be really daunting when you first get into it. You know, you venture into it, you think, oh, it is just a plastic toy that I can paint. Then you realise there's like, all the rules and everything that goes with it. Then there's all the books and all the it's madness when you start off, but you find your feet eventually. Given that is the case, do you find that's actually relatively daunting, sort of taking your first steps in, sort of, dare I say, a late stage of the game, as it were? Because myself and Simon have been lurking around for ages. Dunk's relatively new-ish. How has your sort of journey into all of that side of it been, where you say you've got your own Discord and your own Twitch community? Have you found that people sort of just chucking stuff at you, like, watch this person, read this thing, or has it just been like nice little baby steps as you've been going?
Yeah, so I have had a lot of people be like, oh, like obviously like they all talk about like lore and stuff and like playing games, and I'm still like to play my first like game of Warhammer, you know what I mean? So it's like that stuff kind of overwhelms me a bit, but like everyone's always, since I've started, people even like I've had like people that have been painting for like 30, 40 plus years give me advice and stuff and be like really welcoming to like the community. So it's been really nice because I was kind of a bit worried thinking, oh, like I'm like very, very late to the game. So but yeah, everyone's been really nice so far. So it's all good.
Good.
So your Instagram, I had a quick look at it for a couple of times this week, and your nids are all forest themed. Where did the inspiration for that come from? Why? Because it's a bit, obviously you don't look at nids and think leaves and forests and nature. You think like eating everything.
Yeah.
So where did that inspiration come from?
So I can't even like. I think at the time when I painted my first Tyranid, I was like, it was kind of just on what colours I had. And I also, like, green's like one of my favourite colours, so I was like, I'm going to do the theme on, like, mostly base it on, like, my favourite colour. And then also, with my name being Leafy, it was kind of a bit, like, kind of worked hand in hand. And then also, like, I love like the Alien films and stuff, so I kind of was able to incorporate like all the like green slime and stuff, which was inspired by the films and whatnot. So I thought it kind of worked. But
Is that what attracted you to NIDS, the Alien film?
So.
And so now you've moved on to Sisters of the Battle. What's the attraction there? What attracted you to Sisters of the Battle? Why did you choose that as your second faction?
I think it's because I've seen a couple of people in my community painting them, and then like I'd been to I went to Warhammer Fest last year, and I'd seen in like the cabinets and stuff like the battle systems are like, it's like these are sort of, I was like, these are kind of cool. I was like, I think I need to paint some, and I just think they just look badass as well. So and then I've like been listening to some audiobooks and like, well, because I'm trying to get into the lore and stuff, and yeah, I think they're just, I mean, it's a bit dark, but they are cool. Yeah.
So you went to Warhammer Fest last year. Was that your first sort of Warhammer event, or have you been to one before?
Yeah, so was it April Warhammer Fest?
Yeah, it was last April.
So I started painting in March, and then somebody wasn't able to go and gifted me the ticket, and I was like, oh, I'll go because it's my chance to like see like about tabletop and stuff, and like maybe learn and have a few games or whatever, which didn't happen because of the queues. So, well, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I ended up going with like a couple of like good friends, and then yeah, it was I think seeing like all the cabinets like in like Golden Demon and stuff like was really inspiring as well as an artist, like seeing like the levels that people have gone like to on the models. I like, yeah, but that's the only thing that I've been to as of, yeah, I keep trying to get down to Warhammer World, but it's quite a trek, so.
Yeah, I would have thought Warhammer Fest is a bit of a trek as well. I mean, Newcastle to Manchester isn't, it's not the shortest of journeys either, is it really?
Well, at the time I was living in Scarborough, so it was only like a 2-hour train or something, but I was used to travelling about going to Manchester because I've been uni there, so it wasn't too bad. So
what was your overall opinion of your first ever convention, as it were? What did you, without getting into too much detail, because I think it is a subject that people can probably talk about quite a lot, because there's a lot of strong opinions on Warhammer Fest. What did you come away with? How did you find it as a whole, the experience?
It was fun. It was nice to meet people as well. So obviously, like, I've been on Twitter and stuff and started getting to know people and met a couple of them at Warhammer Fest, and they've been like friends ever since. But yeah, I was also very, very, very overwhelmed with how busy it was. But it was a good experience though, and it was nice to just see people and like again see the artworks of people. What
day did you go? Saturday, or was it the Saturday?
I think it was the Saturday.
Yeah, that was the big day. Just finally, before I pass you over to Dunk, my final question before I pass you over for now is: so you were an artist before. How have you found the moving mediums from to painting miniatures? Have you found that? Was it an easy transition? Did you take to it quite quickly, or have you found anything challenging?
I do find it quite challenging because I'm like, when I say I've done art, like I'm like a prosthetic artist, so it's like I'm used to doing like huge like bust sculpts and stuff. So when it comes to going from working on something that's like this big to something that's like this big, and then sculpting things that are even smaller, it's just like, it's been a challenge, but it's like in an eye opener for like myself though, because I can then push myself again, because obviously like with my prosthetic stuff I can work to like one level and then it'll just all be like the same outcome, whereas like now that I'm trying to focus it into like smaller. Anyway, detailing is incredibly hard. But yeah, it's some of that I'm working on. But
And just following on from that question, do you find that obviously as a new painter, you're at an advantage because you can understand a bit of colour theory better. So have you found that being able to pick your colours for the likes of your tyranids has been easier for you to get the results that you're looking for? Personally speaking, I've went through about 15 different colour schemes for Necrons over the last 4 years, but do you find that because your background in art, it's been easier for you to find the colours that go with other colours that you want?
yeah, so I think when it comes to me, like for instance, my Tyranids and stuff, choosing colours and like what would work, it was kind of easy, but then at the same time, also trying to mix paints to get a certain colour that I need with like Citadel paints is a nightmare. So that's also been a challenge, but I think it has like that. The colour theory stuff does like it is in the back of my mind all the time when it comes to painting and stuff. So.
And do you see yourself moving on to more? You're going to maybe do some Lord of the Rings stuff in the future? Are you happy enough just to concentrate on your Tyranids and your Space Marines just now?
I think currently I'm going to just say that I'm going to stick to like Warhammer and like 40k and stuff. But eventually, I think once I've got like an army finished, then I might move on to some Lord of the Rings because they do have some cool figures. So
Yeah, I mean there are some like really good models, even in Age of Sigmar, which Simon absolutely loves. He's like a deep down AOS fanboy. He just doesn't want to admit it, but deep down he really wants to start building an AOS army.
Can I just interject? I have got an AOS army because demons can be played in both. So technically, you already got one.
Demons and bugs. All right.
So, when you're not painting Warhammer, like I follow you on Twitter as well. I think that's how I came across you, was on Twitter first, and then I followed you on Instagram. Not that I'm stalking you, or was that guy that was standing outside the coffee shop. But obviously, like you're a bit of a gym bunny. How long have you been doing like the weightlifting and that, and is it relatively new as well?
Yeah, that's honest. It's everything always like it comes down to my partner when I have this conversation about like Warhammer and gym, because like I've in the past I've tried to gym and I'd probably go once and I won't go for like another year or something. But he's like big on the gym and like nutrition and all that stuff. So yeah, I think he was kind of like my saviour in that sense because I say that, but then at the same time my bank account pays for it. So especially when it comes to the Warhammer side of things. But yeah, it's probably been like a year or so with that as well, with the weight training and stuff. But it's been, yeah, it's been a lot of fun at the same time, apart from when I occasionally injure myself, but that's my own bad. So.
And as your better half, has he regretted getting you into the Warhammer and the gym because you're maybe starting to do better than him at both and starting to smash out some PBs and he's kind of struggling behind now? So
he's into Warhammer, but he's big on the lore and he doesn't paint and he doesn't play. But he keeps saying that I've got to help him paint an orc army. I'll try to at least. But I don't think there's never anything like that between us because he's always like pushing me to like be my best and stuff. And obviously he knows he helps with that as well, so it's good.
So venturing back to Twitter for a second. Twitter for me is just football related. I don't follow any hobby stuff on there. But the occasional things that do flag up when I've sort of been bored and had a look, there tends, from what I've gathered of it, it seems to be a bit of a toxic little place for Warhammer out there on Twitter. What's been your experience of that? Is that something you've encountered, or?
So I've not actually encountered any like toxicity like on Twitter. I know there is a lot of it because I do see a lot of it, but at the same time, as soon as I see someone that's been remotely, I just block them and then I don't have to see it. But I've not encountered anything like that, but I do see where you come from with the toxic side of it all. But I haven't been on. I did go on a lot when I first started, like painting and stuff. Not so much anymore. But I do post my work and then I'll just like nip back on and be like, oh. But it has been at the same time. It has been good for building like a follower base and stuff for like my work. So I kind of can't argue with it at the same time.
So with your streaming and your game streaming and your Twitch and stuff, what sort of stuff were you playing on that?
So it's always a funny one because like when I first started streaming, it was the middle of lockdown and I was a cozy streamer and I was playing stuff like Animal Crossing and all this stuff, and then it went from it went from that to then me kind of realizing that I wasn't really playing what I wanted to play myself. It was kind of more for like what I thought people wanted to see. And then I ended up just going into horror games. So I just ended up becoming like horror streamer. And then painting happened, and then I stopped streaming video games and just started mini painting on stream. So
it's a bit of a change then, going from paying Tom Nook your mortgage to being chased down by serial killers and stuff. What's your standout horror game?
Oh, God. Standout. Frig. Hang on.
I don't like asking people for their favourites because I always think it's a bit loaded. Like if someone says, what's your favourite film of all time? I can't answer.
Yeah.
But something always stands out to me at various points. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, me and my mates were talking about Starship Troopers for 3 hours. And yeah, that's down top of my mind. And so just whatever comes, whatever you've been sort of playing recently, whatever's really sort of stuck out for you.
I haven't played any horrors recently, but the games that always do like stand out to me are like Resident Evil. So especially like, because I think the last one that I played was the 2 remake, and then actually Tale of Fib. So played through the second, and then I think we recently got The Village and started playing that. I need to carry on with it, but it's been fun. So.
No, Johnny Lee, mate, sorry. I wish I'd been playing Helldivers. I don't have a PlayStation. I'm one of them weirdos. But yeah. Simon, you'll go.
Right, so I was surprised and I was waiting for the chat prompt. It didn't come, so that's just taking me off left field.
Keep you on your toes.
I was miles away then looking at the screen. So you do prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
What did you? Is that what you went to university and stuff for? Was that part of your prosthetics thing?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
So I ended up going to. Oh,
No.
sorry, you carry on.
No, carry on. No, carry on.
No.
No, carry on.
Oh no, I was just saying that I'd been to. I think I'd done like my first like couple of years at uni in Manchester, and then I did like my honours in Bolton, which was a bit rough, but it was. I ended up. Yeah, but we got the degree, so I got to swiftly move on from that place.
So what took you down that road? What inspired Little Leafy when you were a child to go and make horrible disfigurements and things for movies and TV and things? What inspired? Where did that come from? Have you always been a horror fan, or?
So, funny enough, it wasn't actually inspired. Like I didn't want to do prosthetics because of horror until like later on down the line when I was at uni. But what made me want to do like special effects and stuff was Lord of the Rings. I remember going to see The Fellowship when I was a kid in the cinema, and I was being sat there just like, wow. And then obviously all the prosthetics, and I was like, I want to make monsters. And then from that point, like I was always like there with like Play-Doh stuff, like sculpting things, and then like trying to. And then later on, I ended up just going to college, and like at first I was like self-taught, so I was just constantly like body painting like monsters and orcs and blooming God knows what, and then went on to education. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see you or don't. That's the problem. So I don't know when you finish talking until you go quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Can you see me
Okay.
at least?
I can just all I can see is Casey. You know what I mean? It's not.
I'll
I
just
ain't got
do
the
this when they stop then, yeah? I'll do that.
yeah. Let me know, because I'm just like, I don't know if there's still more of the conversation coming or the conversation's finished, because I can't see anyone. No, we'll persevere. At least we're all four of us are on this time. So Resident Evil was your video game standout. Out of all the Resident Evils, which one do you think?
I'll do that.
Which one did you like playing the best? Not necessarily your favourite. Which one did you find best? You like playing the best gameplay?
It's very controversial because I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but Biohazard, because I really enjoyed 7, right? Biohazard, but anyway, yeah. I really enjoyed playing that game. Mostly because it was like the first one that I've really played. Because then I played that one first, and then went on to playing the others after. Because but I just like the game mechanics and the storyline and everything. So
What was the racist one where you were just going about Africa shooting black people? Was that Resident Evil 5? Resident Evil 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a terrible one. I remember when I'm that old, I played the first Resident Evil on the PlayStation 1, and I remember getting into the greenhouse and not being able to get by that stupid thing in the bath. Now, this was before like YouTube and everything else, so you had to wait like 2 months for the Games Master magazine to actually tell you to put fertilizer in the bath to kill the plant monster. Honestly, I was ready to smash my PlayStation. I think I shot the thing about 1,000 times. I hated that part of the game, but I'm a big Resident Evil fan myself.
I only played the first 4, I think. I haven't played any since. But I too played 1, and was waiting for the magazines. That was life then. Waiting for your magazine for your playthrough, or trying to find a cheat code or something to get round a level. That was my gaming life when I was young. Anyway, moving right along. So, Lord of the Rings. Were you a big fan of the books before the film, or was it the films that really took you into that world and got you excited about it?
yes, so it was the films, but obviously that like got me into it. And it wasn't until over the last like couple of years I think I read The Hobbit, and then I was going to read, but my argument is that I struggle reading, so it's why I haven't read the books, but I have been listening to like the Andy Serkis audiobooks, so that's been a lovely little time.
And how far into the Lord of the Rings books are you with Andy Serkis narration?
Well, I'm only on the Fellowship with the audiobooks. Like I listen to it every now and again, so it's not like I have to like really be in the mood to listen to the audiobooks. But yeah, it was mostly just the movies that got me into Lord of the Rings and stuff. So
I remember me and my mate went Christmas shopping, and just before we were going Christmas shopping for the Return of the King, but we met in the pub, and we never really left the pub, and we're supposed to meet our other mate who had bought the tickets for the Return of the King, and every time Hugo Weaving was on screen, I was pretty drunk at that point, I would go, Mr. Frodo! And honestly, the Return of the King, man, that has about 53,000 endings as well. I hated that film. And I think the people in the cinema hated me by the end of that film as well. Did you watch the Prime TV show, and did you watch the Netflix Resident Evil? What did you think of the two of them?
So I didn't watch Netflix Resident Evil, but I have just finished watching Rings of Power, because I did start watching Rings of Power when it first came out, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was just there like, fine, don't know if I'm vibing with it. I was a bit like, wasn't sure like how. Well, I mean, I should have just carried on watching it because it ended up being amazing. But yeah, like Ricky hasn't seen it anyway, so I was like, oh, it's my chance to actually just sit down and watch it all. And then yeah, I thought it was really good. So, but yeah, I haven't watched the Netflix thing for Resident Evil yet.
It's actually alright. It's pretty decent. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, like, so I'll watch anything like Mortal Kombat. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fanboy as well, so I'll watch anything and love it, regardless of how badly people say it is. Like, I liked Raccoon City, the newest Resident Evil film. I thought it was pretty awesome, to be honest. So when you're doing your painting, what is it do you listen to audiobooks? Do you listen to like music, or do you just sit in silence and do your hobbying?
It depends because most of the time I'll have like I'll have like a Twitch stream up and just like watch like if people either playing like well it's mostly Baldur's Gate at the minute but then also like any mini painters that I alive that I follow or again I'm just sat with Baldur's Gate on and I'm trying to paint and then like going between the two just like oh
Yeah, like I think myself, I sometimes have Twitch on during the day, and I'll watch our good friend Mike Mons with his painting. Some of his painting stuff is absolutely phenomenal, and I'll occasionally watch the football when I'm trying to mini paint, but I've not painted in absolutely ages. Final question for me before I pass you on to Casey at the moment. What are you currently painting this now? Now, I apologise if you've already answered that question. Is what are you actually painting this now?
So I'm currently painting up my Battle Sisters, but that's been a bit of a slog at the minute because it was because I'd put all of my Tyranids together in one piece that it made me realise that it's difficult to paint certain pieces. So with my sisters, I was like, I'm going to sub-assemble everything. Kind of regretting it at the same time, but yeah, they're slowly coming on. And then I'm also about to repaint one of the first mini I ever painted, which was a Gene Stealer. So, because with it being like 1 year since I started painting, I was like, I'll do like a comparison to like see how far I've come with my painting. So that's currently on my desk.
And did you take a picture? Did you take a picture of the Gene Stealer before you stripped it and repainted it? It'd be nice to see a wee like side by side once they're done.
Yeah, because I've got the picture from when I first did it on my Instagram, but before I stripped it, I did like a little video of it, and then I'm gonna do the same sort of thing and kind of stitch them together and do all that TikTok crap, whatever it is, like a little reel, whatever it is. But yeah, so other than that, I've got like Tor Garradon as well, which I was gifted, which I started painting ages ago, and then I had a bit of a trauma, and the only thing I needed to paint was his head, and then I accidentally hoovered it up, so I wasn't getting it back, and I had to wait for my friend to send me a replacement. So I have that now, so hopefully he's finished in the next like few weeks as well. So
cool. So Nid's Battle Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you do next? Once you've got all of that out of your way, what have you got your next project lurking in the back of your mind already, or?
I kind of want to do some Age of Sigmar stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like I keep seeing like some models coming up, and it's mostly little goblins, and I'm just like I just want to paint some goblins. So I'll see nearer the time, but it might change.
And just sort of following, personally, like I follow some accounts from the Northeast on here. I know there's like Warhammer Pod. I'll name drop them. Colin Guy that's left already. I can't remember his full name, but from what I know of it, there is a good chunk of a community up there that you could probably step into. Have you sort of looked out into venturing into any sort of events up there, any sort of game shows, any sort of little get-togethers any of them got going on, shops,
Well,
etc.,
it's
etc.?
like, so for me, it's like I've just moved up here, so I'm kind of still trying to, well, make friends and stuff while I'm here, but
Yeah.
like, it's also, I kind of want to get like some of my sister's finished painting so I can actually go to like either like a games workshop or something and
Mhm.
learn how to play before I go. I just feel like I might embarrass myself a bit if I go to like a convention and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I don't actually know how to play. But I know that everyone there will be like, oh yeah, we'll teach you. You know what I mean? But I think it's just an anxiety thing. But I will end up looking into going into like local events and stuff and see what there is, because I see people attending things all the time and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. So yeah.
So, given that you've just moved up to Newcastle, I venture up there every now and again. I think I'm up that way next month at some point. I don't know. How mad is it that there are that many Gregs within a square mile?
So, honestly, the first video that I ever took when I moved there, I was job hunting, and I remember, I think I posted a video on like my personal Instagram, just been there like, I have never seen so many Gregs in my entire life. And I was absolutely baffled at the fact that they're open until 4 a.m. as well. And I was like, what's this about? Like, there's like 3 on each street.
Yeah.
You can't escape it.
And then you got
I have to
the Christmas.
drive I have to drive 2.5 hours to get to Greggs. There's
my
no
God.
Greggs in the Republic of Ireland. There's no
We've
Greggs
got-
in Strabane. I have to go to either Belfast or fucking Kilrain to go and get a fucking steak,
Oh my
bacon, or cheese and onion pasty.
God.
To be fair, we've
Brexit.
got a lot of Gregs, and we've got Greg's drive-throughs popping up everywhere now as well. I never thought
Oh,
I'd have a
oh my
drive-through,
God.
drive-through for a sausage roll. Never thought you could do that, but they're popping up everywhere around here.
The best thing I've seen was at Christmas. Phoenix, the department store up in Newcastle, opened up a special afternoon tea thing for festive bakes, and I was
I
so
love it.
gutted when we saw our family for Christmas that I couldn't get booked into it. Coined the phrase, I was fuming. But there you go. As well, how have you found just generally the move to Newcastle? Because it's a weird little city, isn't it? There's no other way of describing it. It's just nice old buildings, cheap restaurants that do like 3-course meals for less than 15 quid.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
one
when you're on
thing I
your night
noticed
out,
earlier.
and then when you're on a night out in the town, you just see all the messes everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's been really weird because obviously I moved from Scarborough, so it's like this tiny little grandma seaside town, just like nothing going on, no nightclubs because they all just like shut down because no one goes anymore, like nothing whatsoever. And then I moved to Newcastle, and it's like, well, I finish work at like 6 p.m. and like on my walk from work, it's like I feel like it's like 2-3 in the morning because everyone's just absolutely wasted.
Yeah.
Walking around with like Greg's just really drunk, and I'm just like, oh well, this is where I chose to live. So
No, that's most times that's what I see
it
when
does
I'm
have
up there
really
as
nice
well.
buildings though, so I can't really.
Yeah, some really nice old classical stuff, all the old 1800 sort of style buildings, all the old Victorian area, and then you just sort of walk into the town centre and there's the shopping centre, and you're like, oh fuck. But
Yeah.
that's my don't worry, you're not alone in that sort of thought process. I'll pass over to Si in 1 second. Just on the last question on Newcastle, have you been shat on by a pigeon underneath the bridge yet?
Which bridge? There's many.
The main Tyne bridge, sorry.
Oh.
That's the one I always think of.
No, because it's
No,
like.
She's right. There's lots of bridges. You've got the railway bridge, Tyne Bridge. There's the other bridge, just one way.
Not yet.
Cool.
Kind of hoping I don't.
I missed it. I dodged it last time I was up there.
Oh my God.
Bullet timed it almost, but yeah.
What?
Go on, Si, you'll go.
You watch. I'll walk to work tomorrow and I'll get shit on. That's what's going to happen.
Blame me for it. I'm fine.
So just an aside, I was going to ask you the question, which I will, but it's just that you said you were from Scarborough. That's sort of stuck in my head now. So did you ever watch? There was a sitcom, I think it's about 2019, with Jason Mountford in it, called Scarborough, set in Scarborough. So I wonder if you'd watched it and if that was like what Scarborough life is actually like. But if you didn't, it
I
doesn't matter. That's why
haven't seen it, but somebody, when I was at work yesterday, I was talking to a couple and a lady. She was saying about it because obviously they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, Scarborough," and then she was like, "Oh, there's this series," and I was like, "I've not seen it." I was like, "How have I lived there for so long and I've not seen it or known of it?" Like, so I might have
Yeah,
to give it a watch and then I'll message you and I'll give you feedback. So if
yeah.
that's
Let me
what
know.
Scarborough life's
No,
actually like.
when you said how quiet it was, it just I just remembered the series and it just seemed dead
It
there. It's like a seaside
is,
town, but there's like nobody around, and
yeah,
I felt like there was one pub that everybody went to, and I just wondered if that was like what it was really like.
yeah, pretty much. Like without watching it, that's pretty much what it's like. There's probably like four main pubs that people will go to, but other than that, like it's just dead all the time.
Yeah,
So
See, I'm going to
definitely
jump in quick. I'm
go
going
on,
to jump
Chris.
in quick there. Sorry, I'm interrupting now again
So
because
I
I
was
was in
jumping
Scotland
in
last
the
summer. I did like a holiday in North Yorkshire. Stayed in Skirlington, which was horrible. But Scarborough, I thought, was lovely. You got the nice castle, you got the nice little the seafront, which is basically a fish and chip shop, every other shop, which was great. I put on
wow.
weight there; it was brilliant. And it's just a very classical, old school '70s high street. What's not to like? Yeah, the Weatherspoons on it, the
No
Argos.
one's saying it's bad, Casey. I was asking if it was as quiet as it seems. But thank you from Casey's new job, by the way, is for the Scarborough Tourist Board. So
and English heritage for the castle. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, Simon.
you're fine. So when you do dip your toe into playing, when you finally get the confidence and get your armies ready, do you think you'll go with Nids as in your first game, or do you think you'll go with Sisters of Battle, or will you just stick to whatever's in the shop and they teach you to play on?
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what I've got finished painted first. Um, but I think it more than likely will be my Tyranids just because I have so many of them. So I feel like I could for the actual army because the only thing I have of like my sisters is the Battle Sisters like box. So it's like 10 of them, and then I've got Morven Val, and that's it. But like with my Tyranids, I've got like my full like Leviathan box of them, and then like all the others that I've got as well. So like my Hive Tyrant and stuff. So I feel like I'll probably just with them I can like get them like tabletop ready as well. So I'll probably get them painted quicker than my sisters anyway. So
And from a painting point of view, how did you find you started with Nids, which are very texture heavy and there's a lot of detail to pick out, and then you move over to Sisters, which are power armor, and there's a lot of smooth surfaces, a lot of curved surfaces. Did you find your style changed? Was there any teething problems moving from Nids to Sisters?
yeah, so it was like with the obviously like with the Tyranids, like I like them looking like grotty and stuff anyway, so I wasn't too fussed on like everything looking smooth and like perfect and stuff. But then obviously it's totally different when it comes to my sisters because obviously they've got like the armor and then especially the cloaks and stuff as well. I was just there like I can't just whack paint on. I'm gonna have to do something to make them look decent. And then yeah, I've just kind of over the last few weeks, I was only working on like one of my battle sisters, but it was just so I could make sure I'm getting everything right before I do the rest. But I was like focusing on like how to paint the cloaks and like glazing and stuff because I've not done it before. So I've been trying to teach myself how to do glazing properly and stuff. But it's not now I've got like that one finished and stuff, and like edge highlighting has been an absolute nightmare. But I think by the ninth or tenth sister, I should be alright at it. I'm hoping so. We'll see.
ADH Minis have just brought up something in the chat, organic versus trim, which has just triggered another question in my mind. How are you finding trim? Are you finding little bits of gold eagles and trim on things? Is that are you finding it a chore, or are you okay with that? Can you just switch your mind off and crack on?
I struggle with it a little bit, but I think it's also down to my brushes. So, because I've still got all like, it's only recently that I started buying some like Kolinsky brushes to try and like with like a finer tip to do like highlighting and like smaller pieces like that and like trim and stuff, because I've just been like my first brushes that I bought from like Poundland, so I've been using them for however long, and just obviously like Citadel like ones, but even then like with the Citadel ones I didn't really use them for the purpose. Obviously like you've got like your glazing brushes and all this stuff, but I didn't really take notice of that until like the last like couple of months when I was like, oh, actually, you know, I should maybe use these brushes correctly and then it might help. So, but,
88 Twins again says, try Rosemary and Co. They are so good for the price. I've never used them myself, but I have heard they are pretty good. And I think I think it was ADHD last week that said, I think they were saying it was like £7-8 a brush, which to be fair, it isn't the cheapest, but it is by nowhere near the most expensive. What sort of brushes are you using at the minute, like make-wise?
the make-wise, the only ones that I've really got are Citadel. I've got some Artis Opus dry brushes, which they've been amazing, which kind of made me realise that I should maybe branch out on my brush selection, because like I did have just like old makeup brushes for dry brushing, and like don't get me wrong, like some of them I still use because they are good for it, but then like the Artis Opus ones have been like amazing, so I was like, oh well, I need to look into brushes. And I think someone had mentioned before like the Rosemary and Co. I think it's series 7. I think it's like super for like edge highlighting and stuff. So I was like, keep meaning to buy them, because I think I'd rather pay like £7 or £8 for one of their brushes than bloody. I think I've got this one from Citadel, and it was like 15 quid, and I was just there like, oh boy.
Yeah, they're
So
artificial fine detail ones. Yeah, they are expensive.
yeah.
So just before I pass you over to Dunk, a bit of a fun question. I realise with your weight training, and you just said that your other half is into his fitness and nutrition, so you probably watch your macros and things quite a lot. But when you have a cheat day, or when you fancy you're being a bit naughty and you go to Greg's, what is your go-to Greg's?
Oh God, bloody hell. It's not normally a steak bake, and they do the breakfast. I don't know if you had it, the breakfast bacon and cheese like wrap thing. Then just I'll eat about 40 of them if I could.
So you're sitting when you're not painting and you're not smashing out personal bests and being stalked by people in coffee shops. What do you like to do to relax yourself?
Play video games. All I really do is I'm just trying to think. What I feel quite boring, because I literally just go to work, and then when I'm not at work or painting, I'm just sat playing either Baldur's Gate or currently playing through the original Final Fantasy VII on my Switch. So, but other than that, that's all we're doing. Or like we'll go for like walks and stuff and do all fun stuff like that. So
I'm a big Elden Ring fan, so the DLC trailer was dropped at 3 o'clock this afternoon after a half-hour wait, and I was a bit disappointed. It's coming out in June 21st, I think it is, but I was hoping to pay out a wee bit before that, but I'm currently running through Elden Ring again, just using my fists. Fist only run, baby. So if when you're playing your Baldur's Gate, or you're going through Final Fantasy VII, and you've got a wee packet of crisps sitting beside you, what would be your flavour of choice of crisp?
Chili Heatwave Doritos all the time. It's all I eat. If that counts.
And when you're feeling a bit parched after eating all the Doritos, would you be washing it down with a Pepsi or a cola?
Oh, this is a hard one because I always bounce between Coke Zero and Pepsi Max. So, but it has to be Pepsi Max Cherry. So,
Oh,
I'm kind of
no.
like, I don't know which.
Nothing wrong with the cherry one, Dunk. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't be bad.
No, man.
Me
No.
and Duncan agree a lot, but I've got to agree with Duncan on this one. It tastes like drinking Benylin. No.
No, it's fine.
I actually don't mind Benelin, to be honest. But anything that's flavoured cherry, be it by sweets, lozenges, drinks, it's rank, man. It's absolutely rank. I remember when I was in the army, right? I'm not making this for a long time. I was in the army, by the way. There was a guy in my during the war. One of my mates drank dandelion and burdock. Oh my god, I would have gave away secrets for that stuff, man. That stuff is disgusting.
What?
I mean, that is absolutely rank, that stuff. Oh, who invented that? Honestly, like, what were they doing?
It was a simpler time. It was when people didn't have a lot of money with rationing, and they got a dandelion and whatever a burdock is.
What the fuck is a burdock? I know what a dandelion is, right? I've eaten a few dandelions in my time as a 5-year-old child, right? But what the fuck is fucking a burdock? Is it a
root? Is it a plant root or some shit?
Hang on.
Right, it might be a root. Yeah, it could be a root. That makes sense.
That sounds proper peasanty, by the way. That somebody was really, really struggling someday with a drink.
There you go,
Just,
ADHD minutes, it's the plant root. We're verifying that ADHD.
Yeah. Ow. Burdock is a traditional medicinal herb used for many ailments. There you go, Google.
Dandelion and burdock. Yeah. Almost as bad as cream soda. It's another drink I hate as well.
Yeah, I don't really like cream soda.
No.
Vanilla, it's fine. It's inoffensive like vanilla ice cream. You gotta just hate it.
So we all know that you've got a good few tattoos. Anna, how many tattoos do you think you have?
Oh God. I'm gonna say over 30. I think.
And have you got any tattoos up and coming? Anything that you're planning on having done soon or eye on?
Well, I would have had my back tattoo finished, but then Warhammer happened. So, like honestly, I'm always like I could get my tattoo finished or could get a new tattoo, but then I'm like, but there's also these paints and these minis, and just and it's easier for me to walk into a shop and just go buy the paints than it is for me to book an appointment. So, and my tattoo is back in Scarborough, so there's also that.
And do you go back home? Like, I know you've been up there in Newcastle. This is my final question before I pass you to Simon. Again, I know you've been up in Newcastle, like you say, roughly for about a year. Do you get back home much at all? Like,
well, I only moved here in November, so I haven't actually been able to visit home since I've moved, just because with my new job and stuff, at first I was kind of like, I don't want to be taking time off as I've just started there. And now I'm also just coaxed into contracted hours, so I find it difficult finding the time to go up and see my parents and stuff. But when I've got time and stuff, and like my mum's like super supportive and whatnot, so she understands.
So, sorry. No, go.
And just my final question. This is my final question for Patsy Simon. It's just before I forget to ask this, because I was going to ask it the first time, but I'm going to forget if I don't ask it now. Do you have any brothers or sisters, and what do they think about you in the hobby? Do they think you're a bit mad, or are they fully supportive, or find it funny?
So like, I've got my two younger brothers, and the eldest out of the two, he doesn't care. He's not bothered about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? He's like with his partner, his like fiance and stuff, doing his football and all that stuff. So when it comes to me about mini painting, he's just like, what's this? Whereas like my youngest brother, he's like 18, and he like occasionally comes in my streams, and he's there like always supporting like my work and stuff, and because he's wanting to get into like playing D&D and stuff as well. So so he's wanting to paint minis, so it's just trying to find the time to go back home and visit him as well, so I can get him introduced into plastic crack. But yeah, like he's eager to paint some stuff. So.
Right.
So what I was going to say was there's all this talk of Greggs and hobby shops. Now there is a drive-through Greggs in Leek, Staffordshire, just down the road from Boltstorm Wargaming. That is our channel sponsor and my friendly local gaming store. So if you're ever in Leek, Staffordshire, check out Boltstorm Wargaming. Now that plug's over, where do you go to get your hobby supplies? Is there any local gaming stores that you go to, or are you strictly a Games Workshop person? Where do you go to get your stuff?
Currently, the only places I know of are Travelling Man and the Warhammer store. I know that there's another, I think there's like a boys that I could go to in Chester Street, but that's quite a trek from where I am currently. But I'll eventually get there. But I know that they sell like loads of like Colourforge like spray cans, and that's what I want to try next for like primers. So I'm like, need to get over there, but. Yeah, it's mostly just like Warhammer, the Warhammer store, and as I said, Travelling Man.
So Colourforge, by the way, are coming on to the podcast end of March.
Oh, nice.
We're big fans of Colourforge. I have Colourforge. I can recommend their sprays great highly. So do you do anything online for your shopping, or do you prefer to sort of walk in, get it, and walk out the same day? Because obviously Games Workshop are like 15 to 20% more expensive than your local stores. So are you an eye for a bargain, or is it just I need it now, I'm going to get it now?
Well, it sort of depends. Like the only things I've really bought in store, like model wise, was my sister's, because obviously like with the Leviathan box, that was a whole ordeal for myself and everybody trying to get hold of one when it was released. But other than that, like yeah, I think I'm gonna try and like either find like a local store that does sell obviously like all the stuff I need and whatnot, because I feel like going somewhere like that as well, I'm more than likely going to make some friends there as well.
Yeah.
I can jump in with a little bit of a recommendation for that. It's not Newcastle, it is Sunderland, so it's still like a trip on the metro. But I don't know if he's still there or not. There was a place called Battle Bunker in Sunderland. A guy called Justin runs it, and he's been there donkeys. He runs not just the shop, but he has a gaming aspect to it as well. He used to run tables. Really friendly guy. I haven't been up there for a while, but might be worth looking them up.
Yeah, I'll have a look into it. Thank you.
Sorry, Sam.
How would you find staff at your local GW? Because I find staff at GW they can either be really unintrusive but friendly, or they can be full-on hardcore sales in your face as soon as you walk through the door. What are the stuff like at your store? Are they the hardcore type, or are they more laid back?
They're really laid back. They're always like super nice when I come in, and like they won't, if they see me like looking at paints, they're not straight away like, oh, what are you trying to get? Like trying to like sell me whatever. I just end up having a conversation about like what I'm painting and like where I'm up to and stuff, and give me recommendations, but don't like try and force anything on me. So, but every time I come in now, I think because I go in that much, that I think I'm becoming a bit of a regular. So, but yeah, they were saying that they'll like help me if I wanted to learn how to play and stuff as well. So I thought that was kind of nice of them, because obviously they didn't have to do that. So
Yeah, we'll say that the staff up that way, the Newcastle door, the Sunderland door, brilliant people. So yeah, the other recommendation I would make is if you do find yourself back in Scarborough, I know it's a little bit of a trek away from there, but Bridlington has a really good shop called Mighty Lancer Gaming. They're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, Twitter, all sorts of stuff. Really friendly people that run it. They did me a solid when I was up there last year and managed to get some colour spray for me within like 3 days of me asking about it. Brilliant people. So look them up too. But that's enough of my recommendations. What do you think, as a new person coming into the games, will be your recommendation for anyone starting out?
Sorry to
Oh, hang on.
interrupt. I'm getting that countdown again, right? So we're going to pause this now, and then I'll start another live stream, and we can continue because I'm limited for an hour for some reason. I do apologise, but it's something that we've got ongoing this now. So we'll stop there, and then I'll start up a new stream. Okay, folks?
Okay, bye-bye.
No.
See you, man.
Part 1, boys! We're back with part 2. Hopefully this Instagram thing sorts itself out, because it's a bit annoying having to do 1 hour and then ask everybody then to join back in. So we'll just wait for everybody to join in, and then we can continue with Casey asking some more rip-roaring questions. And you're unable to join. So I've sent you an invite, Casey. I've sent you an invite as well, Kelly. There we go.
Back in.
There.
We've got to figure out this monarchy. It's ridiculous.
And now I can finally see you. I wasn't able to see you, Kelly, for the first part of that. I can only see Penge and his dodgy haircut.
Don't be bad. It's not dodgy. It's pretty much the same as yours, yeah? It's not dodgy. Fuck yourself.
I need to get my head shaved again, though, to be honest.
Oh, it's a little bit long, is it, yours, yeah?
Sitting up there. That's what it is. Sitting. Right, so we're back again, folks. So, Casey, on your own, mate.
Yeah, so as I was asking there, as a relatively new painter and venturing into this madness that we call a hobby, what bit of advice would you give someone who's also just starting their journey off?
Just, oh God. This is a hard one because I'm still like trying to take like this sort of advice from people anyway. Don't take it seriously. Don't take it so seriously, is all I'm gonna say. Because when I first started, I was like trying to be like, I need it to look like this person's work that's been painting for like 8 years or plus. And I was like, why does my stuff not look like this? And then get really like irritated that it didn't. And then I think I just like sat back and I was like, I'm not that person. Like, things take time. Starting from scratch, it's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. So yeah, so take it seriously. So,
yeah.
You know.
You know what? That's a brilliant bit of advice, and it's something I always say to anyone that asks me for advice, and it's always something that I bear in mind when I'm doing whatever I'm doing. It is meant to be fun. Just because someone's been working in a company that designs and sells these and they've been painting them for 20 to 30 years, you know, do what you want. It's your hobby too. Anything's relevant in it. You know, if you don't want to edge highlight, don't edge highlight. If you want to just paint your Space Marines the colour of pink and shit, then if that's what you're happy, do it. So, moving on from that, is there anything that you think you wouldn't paint? Because I'll be honest,
sure
sorry,
I was gonna say at first it was. I remember I used to always be like I don't want to paint Necrons, and then I painted a Necron and I was like, actually they're not the sort of fun to paint. But now I'm currently in this thing where I'm like, I haven't really seen anything that I've been like, oh, I won't paint that, but we'll see.
There's things out there for me that just, as much as I think the new Kroot range coming out, everyone's going on about it, they're not for me. I'm not a fan of them, so I don't think I'll bother. But I suppose that's all just down to taste, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? If you're happy to, you're artistic, you can just jump in, go for it. If not, then yeah, but that's me. Anyway, right, moving on from there, back up to Dunk.
Simon, can you go to the, just after taking the missus up tea, because I'm the tea bitch tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just really disorientated because when I came back on, I couldn't see anybody, and now it's telling me there's only me and Dunk on, but I can hear everybody else's voices, so I'm really confused right now.
Oh, right.
Anyway, moving right
It's
along.
usually
So,
a clusterfuck like this. Don't worry.
yeah, Insta seems to be even more shit than it usually is in the last few weeks. It is absolutely dire. It's almost like they want us to stream somewhere else. Anyway, moving right along. So going back to what Casey was asking about what you would and wouldn't paint, is there a faction in the future that you really are excited to get your hands on, that you look at it and think, yeah, this is a bit of me. I really want to give this a go.
Just Orcs.
Fair enough. Orcs is a good choice.
Good answer.
Many orcs. So is it purely? I mean, you mentioned you wanted to paint like goblins for AOS. Is it 40k orcs or AOS orcs or sorry, AOS orcs, or is it both?
It's so I painted cause I think I got it from, I don't know if that's the one that I got from Warhammer Fest. It was like one of the commemorative models.
Yeah.
And
The rat catcher one.
I'm not
There's
sure.
there's a grot and an orc.
I think he's got.
What?
Hang on. I don't know. Oh wait, I don't know where it is. Never mind. I can't find it. It was he had like a little gem like with a base, and his staff was like stabbing into it. Yeah, I painted that, and I was like, that's the first time I'd painted like any sort of like green skin, and I was like, oh, I was like, that was sort of fun. And then not long back, I painted a 40k orc, and I was like, oh, this was super fun as well. And I was like, so I think that might be a thing for me in the future, just because also squigs are just super fun.
So you mentioned that your other half doesn't paint or play; he's just into the lore. Do you think you will be able to get him more involved? I know you said you want to get him involved. Do you think you can get him to? Because obviously, if there's two of you in the house, you could set up. You could build a board. That could be a nice project, and then you can play at home.
Yeah.
As an alternative to computer games. Do you think you'll ever? Is he artistic at all? Do you think you can get him into painting, or is he just not arty?
He's not very like arty, but we did do I can't remember, it was like a couple of months ago, like I was saying that I wanted to learn, so he knows how to play 40k and stuff as well. So we literally like got my Tyranids out and on like my dining room table when I was back at my parents', and there with like a protein tub and like like breakfast bars as like box for terrain and stuff. Yeah, he briefly showed me how to play then, and then that's when I was like, I do actually think I want to learn to play, because at first I thought, oh, maybe I could just paint and I don't have to play, because I think sometimes you can either just be a painter or you just play, you know what I mean? But I think I want to do both. So
yeah.
But I think eventually, like, because we're currently in like a small apartment, when we do get a house, it's going to be that our spare room is a games room, and because we're both like D&D as well, we want like a table so we can do like both like Warhammer and also like D&D games and stuff. So eventually I'll get into it.
There are plans.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings, you're a big Lord of the Rings fan. So if you had to spend an evening with one Lord of the Rings character, who would it be?
Oh, frig. Okay. I used to think about this one. You know what? It's going to have to be
The cave crawl, because he was unjustly murdered for no reason.
So my issue is I'd either choose Aragorn or Samwise Gamgee, but I'm mostly going towards Samwise Gamgee just because he's an absolute doll and he carried the film. So
he saved Middle Earth at the end of the day. If he hadn't gone after Frodo, it would have been game over. If he hadn't rescued Frodo from Shelob, it would have been all over. He is unsung hero of Lord of the Rings. I think I'm with you on that one. Do you think he was in love with Frodo, or do you, that sort
No,
of is that
he
fan
could.
theory? Isn't there? That
I don't think so. I don't think so. He couldn't wait to get back and
Yeah, good question.
marry his
Rosie, didn't
missus.
he?
Yeah.
yeah, but there's that fan
So
theory, isn't there, that everyone was trying at one point. Everyone was trying to ship Frodo and Sam.
oh
Duncan,
gosh.
are you back? I can't see anybody. So, Duncan, are you back from making the tea? Are you ready to be handed over to? Because I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm back because Casey ruined the flow because it's usually Simon to me and then
No,
me
no, 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 no,
Casey.
no, no,
Yeah,
no. It went from Simon to Duncan, and you went to Simon. So it weren't me. Don't blame me for this. No, no, no. I'm not having that shit. Don't
trying
come
to
at me
pass
with
it to
that
me.
bollocks. No.
So, Duncan, away you go.
Aye. Fuck, I actually had a question there before I started throwing shade at people. Oh, honestly, I'm pure annoyed with myself now. Have you played any of the? I know what it is now. Have you played any of the Inquisition or the Dark Tide games or any Warhammer games? Have you played any of them?
So I played a bit of Dark Tide. I think I'd played a little bit with Ricky, and I also played some with like my Discord community as well. I thought it was super fun. But I think when I played, there was like, I don't know if there was like issues with the game, and I think they did like an update for it, and it's kind of balanced itself out. But I've not played since then.
I know it's now in the Game Pass for Xbox, so me and Casey must need to team up and do an Inquisition on the game because you've got an Xbox, Casey, so we need to do that. I only played it yesterday for about 10 minutes. Didn't know what I was doing. Ran out of ammunition and just kept getting milked and had to rely on my mates to revive me. So yeah, but it seems a pretty decent game, and I played a wee bit of the Inquisition, but then I always get drawn back to Dark Souls type games and Elden Ring type games. So yeah, I'm sucker for getting. I'll start something, and then I'll get sucked back into what I know. Is there any figures that are coming out soon that you're looking forward to be painting?
Currently, not at the minute. I think I'm mostly not looked into what is coming out because I just know me being me, I'll be there like, oh, I want that one, and then I'll stop painting what I'm doing and then move on to something else and I'll end up with a pile of shame. So I'm trying to just finish what I'm doing at the minute and then I'll look into, because I'm a sod for, if I see a model that I like, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go buy it and then be like, oops. So
It sucks being an adult and having money you can go and buy plastic backpack, and then you're thinking,
It's probably
oh,
very
right.
good for your bank account though if you've got that impulse control.
And are you still just using Citadel paints, or have you like moved on to other brands? Like I'm starting to move myself away from the more Citadel brushes and paints. Are you starting to do that yourself? Is there any brands that you're looking forward to trying out?
yeah, so I am only using Citadel at the minute, but it's mostly because, well, one, it's what I was used to just buying, and it was just like easy to get hold of. But I have seen like a lot of hype around like AK paints and stuff. And eventually I would like to try like Pro Acryl, but I think that I don't actually know if anywhere sells Pro Acryl in the UK. I'm not sure.
There's a couple of online
Really.
places. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head at the minute, which is bloody annoying. But Hobby Workshop UK are a good one to try, and if not, the Outpost Sheffield.
Okay.
They're usually pretty good ones. And who's obviously they have a big one, Wayland Gaming. Everyone bangs on about Wayland, so have a look at them.
Yeah.
I think that's who I got mine from actually, but I can't remember now. It was ages ago, and I don't really use it that much. So
Just before I pass
obviously
you over,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Just before I pass you over to Kate, this will be my last question of the night because my head's a bit fried just now. Where do you see yourself being in a year, painting wise and like streaming wise? Where do you see yourself? And maybe weight training wise, where do you see yourself in a year?
So painting, I'm not too sure. I'd like to push myself, maybe to try do some like competition work. Maybe we'll see. But I think my main aim is just to like get to more events and stuff. So hopefully by like next year, like I can attend events and like meet more people, and actually have games with people and like interact more and stuff. And as for like weight training and stuff, just gonna always keep trying to hit personal best, I guess. I don't really know currently. Just enjoying just strength training at the minute. So
what do you prefer to do? Like when I did a bit of weight training when I used to play rugby, and I always preferred squatting. So and a few of my mates were better at the deadlifting and other stuff. What's your preferred technique?
It depends because I do like all my days are split. So I'll have like one day I'll do like back and buys, and then another day I'll do like chest and like triceps, so like push day, whatever. But I think my favorite day is always like push day. So always like doing like chest press and stuff because it's when I feel like I'm at my strongest. So.
Thanks.
No one likes leg day. No one likes leg day.
I do. I don't mind leg day. I just don't like the 2 to 3 days after when you've got done.
I used to hate leg day. I used to back in the day when I took training seriously and I wasn't a fat old git. I used to train with a former Mr. Great Britain, and when we did leg day, it was torture. I hated leg day. I really hated it. I'd sit at work thinking it's leg day when I get it's leg day. It's leg day. It was horrible. But anyway, I started to chip that in because don't say like squatting. I mean, I could squat quite a lot but in my heyday, but I hated it. I hated the feel. I hated having Bambi legs. I hated feeling like I was going to be sick. I just hated leg day. And I was a big fan of chest day. I was a big fan of chest day. Bench was my lift, so I really enjoyed chest day. I could do chest day every day, but leg day, nah. Sorry, Case. You wink at me.
No, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with leg day. Coming from a former black belt karate instructor, you got to get your leg days in because you can train all of this, but if you can't kick someone in the dick, then
it's essential for your core strength, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Dear, oh dear. So we were talking a minute ago about the Warhammer games and stuff. One that sort of sticks out for me a little while ago, and I'd sort of say as a recommendation, would be the Orc game Shooters Blood and Teeth, because it is just dumb, good, fun. As an Animal Crossing player previously, does that sort of like the comfiness sort of appeal a bit, like the sort of the silliness? You know, it's not a game that you can just pick up and put down. You don't feel like is something that you're going to walk away like with stress, or that you've just Do you find like if you're playing something like a horror game that you have to play like a comfy game for 10 minutes to unwind? I think that's what I'm getting at.
No, not really. Like if I want to unwind after I've played it sounds bizarre. If I want to unwind after I've played a horror game, I'll go on a first person shooter, which you would think would be more stressful. But
I can see that.
Yeah, it's I don't know, with stuff like Animal Crossing, like I can like pick them up and just put it down and not play it for months on end, whereas like horrors I'll like pick up, play it for a while and then put it down and then won't play it for ages, and then I'll come back to it and then I'll eventually finish it. But yeah.
Can it not be a bit frustrating though if that's how you're looking at Animal Crossing, that you can pick it up, put it down, when you come back to your village after like 2 months, the weeds are everywhere, you got new villagers moving in and out, and do you feel like you've lost track of life? Because I did that when I played it.
So I think the thing for me with that game was I played it in lockdown, and then I was like fully committed to my villagers, like to my island, to everything, like like terraforming the lot. Like I was full on like loved Animal Crossing, and then I started streaming, and then I think with me streaming, I ended up starting my island about 6 times over. So it kind of ended up me having like 2,000 plus hours on the game, and then I was just like, I can't play this game anymore. So I haven't played it in a long, long time, but I kind of got past the guilt of logging in and the villagers being mad at me for not being there for a while.
Yeah, it does feel like it's sort of you're living a double life in a bit, doesn't it? You know, you're going out to work, you're paying your bills, you're doing everything you got to do. Then all of a sudden you're turning on Animal Crossing and doing exactly the same thing.
Can I just jump in with that? Because I never played Animal Crossing, but I remember during lockdown everybody was playing Animal Crossing. I've got a friend who does a HGV driver simulator, and he has to have loads and take them to places, and he works for an online company. It's not a real company, it's a pretend company. And you'll say to him sometimes, like, you come in for a pint after work, and he'll go, no, I can't, I've got to clock in at 6:30 for my shift. I find it fascinating that people are literally now playing a game like it's a job they don't get paid for, and they want to log those hours in on the game, like you say, because the village will be mad. Or the guy you're delivering these pallets to is going to be really peed off if you're 5 minutes late. It's not real.
Say that. I saw something online the other day, and it's a guy who was playing one of those HGV simulators, and he's got a huge screen here for his windscreen, but then he's got 2 other computer screens either side of him for his wing mirrors, and he had the proper gaming chair that bounced up and down when he's driving. So mate, what are you? Just go drive a lorry.
Yeah, he looks like a lorry dashboard. When he showed us pictures, it looks like a lorry dashboard, like say with 3 screens. So he's got his mirrors, and he's got his console, and he's got his steering wheel, and it's like, oh my god. It's manic. It's like another world. I mean, we think we're nerds, but that to me is another level of nerdness.
We would be that level if we didn't buy plastic crack.
There'd be something else. There would be something else that would be all over. And I think that segues nicely to my next question. If, you know, you've got your Warhammer in, you've got your computer gaming, you've got your horror stuff that you love, your weightlifting, what else is there out there that completes you?
God, I'm gonna say traveling. I think would like to travel way more. I'm trying to. Don't know what else. I'm very much a simple person, so.
So I'll just key in on follow up on what Casey said then. So traveling, something that you aspire to do in the future, and something you want to do more of. Mm-hmm. Where is your go-to holiday destination? Where's a part of the world that you love outside of the UK, outside of Scarborough? Because as we've heard from Casey, Scarborough is the place to be. But outside of that, where's your favourite destination? Where do you like to go to relax, take in the scenery, and just be?
So if it was somewhere within, I'm going to say like somewhere within the UK and somewhere that's not in the UK. So I'd want to go to like, for like scenery and stuff, like Scotland, definitely. Like the Highlands and stuff. And then like out of the UK, like the biggest place that we want to go to is Japan. So would like to, get out there at some point. Eventually, we both said that like later down the line, like is the retirement like place we're gonna try to get to. So we'll see.
Do you ever? When you mentioned I'll go into the hobby side of YouTube in a minute, but this has just triggered something else. So you obviously you watch YouTube. Squidmore's a favourite of yourself and your partner. Speaking of Japan, have you ever watched the channel Abroad in Japan?
No.
So that I would recommend him for. He went over there, I think, about 10 years ago as a teacher. and then he's moved there permanently, and he does so many videos on not just where he lives, but he travels all over Japan because he's a YouTuber full time now.
Yeah.
So if you want more of an insight into Japanese life, then I would recommend you check his channel out. Because to be fair, I've always thought about Japan personally, and I started watching his channel, I think over lockdown, to be honest. And now I really want to go to Japan just because he makes it, just because of the documentary sort of documentaries and fun videos he makes. He's like climbed Mount Fuji a couple of times, and he goes to all these obscure places, and it just looks amazing, to be fair. So I'm with you on the Japan thing. But following on from that, from YouTube, hobby YouTubers, you mentioned Squidmore. Are there any other YouTubers you like to watch? And is it just painting videos you watch, or are you started to dip your toes into like the back rep channels and the lore channels? What sort of channels do you watch?
So currently, well, we watch a lot of looting, obviously, for like the lore stuff. And then painting wise, obviously there's Duncan Rhodes and stuff who I try and watch. And then also there's like Ninjon and stuff as well. And then a couple of friends, I don't know if you guys know, like Zambies and Whittle Goblin, but they're two hobby friends that I met over the last year, and they both do YouTube as well. And it's been fun like watching them as well. So.
And I'm going to steal a question from the stream I was on yesterday because I thought it was a really good question. So if you've got to spend a day in one fantasy setting, which setting would you choose?
Fantasy, oh god. It's fantasy setting. It's going to have to be like Middle Earth, can't lie. If it was to be anywhere, it'd have to be, somewhere that would have to be like Middle Earth based. So.
Any particular place? Any particular place in Middle Earth, or just would you just tour around for the day? What would you do?
Maybe, I don't know. It's like it'd be kind of cool to like lurk in the depths of Mordor, like, but also just I'm not sure, because I always the thing for me is like I always see like my thing is I want to go to New Zealand and stuff as well to like see all the settings and like the scenery. So I think that's kind of a thing that helps with that one.
Apparently, is there an actual Hobbiton in New Zealand? Yeah, I think they've still got the sets, haven't they? You can go and tour around and stuff. That would be pretty cool, to be honest.
Across the sorry, I was just going to say I came across the Instagram the other day. I didn't realise that they had one, and I was just like, oh my god! Like I thought it was literally just like a couple of like hobbit holes, and obviously like the Bilbo's house and stuff. But there's just loads there, and I think you can stay in them and stuff as well. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. I wasn't aware they had one then. A friend of mine went last year to New Zealand for about 3 or 4 weeks, and she put on her Instagram loads of pictures and was like, it's a real place, you can really go inside the houses and everything else. So that was amazing. So finally from me, I don't know if before I hand over to whoever else wants to go, I saw on your Instagram profile, I think when you did a recent post where you introduced yourself and went through all your likes and dislikes and things, and you mentioned that you might want to become a commission artist or work in the fact that as an artist. Would that be something that you'd really look to pursue in the future?
How so? Like as in like with mini painting or
I think
like
you mentioned that you wanted to design. That was it. You wanted to design some orcs. You wanted to be a mini designer. That was where I was going. I was trying to remember the exact wording of your profile, but yeah. So is that something that is long term? Is that something that you want to work towards?
Yeah. So I think the bit that you're on about was I think I mentioned that I wanted to work for like a workshop and make like yeah. So that is like my dream job. Like I would love to work as like either like a prosthetic technician or something, anything, just doing what I love over there. So it would be cool, especially like now they're like working on more stuff within like Lord of the Rings as well. So Because I think they announced that they're doing new films. I think I've
Yeah,
seen.
that's a good follow-up question, to be honest. How do you feel about them remaking Lord of the Rings? Are you excited for it, or do you think don't mess with the classic films?
Because I don't know, I didn't see too much into it. I didn't know it was a remake. I thought that they were releasing stuff that was like based around like obviously like Silmarillion and all that stuff. But
Yeah, I think
so
there's been some rumours. I don't know how true they are because it's the internet, isn't it? But there have been rumours that they want to remake the Lord of the Rings films, and I
oh,
think a lot of diehard fans are like, no, don't do that. But then some people are really excited for it. So
I mean, I guess I'm not gonna like I personally think you shouldn't touch something that's already like incredible. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we can't stop them. So I'd watch it just to see if it was all right. Because as much as I would also like to be like, oh, I'm not watching that because you know I'm a die-hard normal Lord of the Rings fan. But at the same time, as a makeup artist, I'd kind of want to see what works go into that and like what they managed to do with it. So I think that's well. To be fair, I do that with everything I watch now. So always looking at like how the prosthetics are made and well, how they what's the word? I'm just gonna say shown like
yeah,
on TV and stuff. So
are you very much the person then that will sit next to someone watching something and you can point out how they did stuff? Or
yeah, but I won't do that though.
are you
It's
sitting
like
there dying to do that, like sitting on
oh,
your hands, gritting your teeth
oh.
because you really want
There'll
to?
be some times when we'll be start watching something and the like prosthetics will be like not great in a nice way, and I'll be sat there just like my brain cogs are just like ticking like, and he just looks at me and he's like, "What are you like?" It's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, there's this, and this that they could have done better." And I'm just there like, "I need to stop doing it. I need to stop being so critical." But it kind of like I don't know. At the same time, it helps me with my work because then I'm like, if I was to ever recreate a piece like that, I'd know what not. You know what I mean? You kind of. But anyway.
So just before I think before I pass you over to Dunk to wind everything down, I don't know if Dunk's noticed that Sam's just jumped in straight into the stream, straight in like the super duper influencer he is, and just thrown shade straight at Dunk when he said, "Don't mess Lord of the Rings. That's like moving from Scotland to Ireland just wrong." So with that, Dunk, it's over to you for the wrap up, mate.
Yeah. I'll take that fully on the chin, but I didn't betray my three-pronged life for plugs like he did and moved to America. You know what I mean? Don't betray the three-prong. Don't betray the three-prong plug. Walkie.
Get it out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just wrong. It's not right in any sense of the way. You filthy traitor. So I just want to say thanks very much, Kelly, for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute privilege having you on. For those who don't follow you, which is a scandal, where can they find you and where are all your socials?
It's been a pleasure being on here as well. So thank you guys. And I'm literally just Leafy Decays on. I don't know what socials are on. Oh my god, I know I've got Instagram and Twitter, YouTube, but I don't really post much on YouTube. I would like to when I've got time, and then Twitch as well. But that's it.
Anything from you guys before we go?
No, just thank you very much for coming on. It's been interesting. I'm one of these people that I don't really. I try to keep my followers limited because I can't keep track of everybody. So I depend on Duncan Casey to introduce me to new pages, and I thought your page was quite fascinating. I'm sure Duncan Casey would like to get you back on at some point because I personally would like to talk more about movie prosthetics and stuff because I think that's quite interesting and something we don't think we've ever really had anybody on the show that does stuff like that. So just thanks very much for coming on. It's been good.
No, super. Thank you. It's been nice chatting to you all as well, and like getting to chat about like the prosthetics and stuff as well. Obviously, like if there's a next time, like we could talk more about it, but it's a very like rare thing that I get to talk about. So thank you.
Anything from us any wise words of wisdom from Penge, Casey?
No, I've never got anything wise or wisdom bollocks
Just
to
that
say.
Scarborough the best place to be.
Yeah, just filth comes out of my mouth constantly. The only annoying thing for me right now is that Luton have thrown away a lead, but that does us a favour. But yeah, that's it. No, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you giving up your evening and chatting to, like I said, this group of weirdos. And yeah, have you back on at some point, chat to you about anything else, and see how you're getting along with your hobby later on.
Yeah, super. Thank you, guys.
So again, thanks very much for coming on, folks. We're back on Sunday with First Rank Fire, and then we've got Nubicron, the Shade Master himself, a week today. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, folks. As I said in the first part, found out today that Wednesdays in Scandinavia is a mini Saturday. So if you go and treat yourself, apparently, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, and I'll catch you all on Sunday. Cheerio, bye.
See you later.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.